What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the left side of the map in the red color, playing as Odin. His name is GrandMonster. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Zeus. His name is Brickhead. The map is Marsh. This is a best of 3 for the Voobly Champions League group stages. If you're catching this game, it's probably playoff time. If you're catching this game on YouTube, it's probably playoff time. So get hyped for that. Come and hang out on the Twitch stream if you haven't, and see if you can see some of the games live. There's plenty of awesome personalities casting these games, like Hagrid's out there, Blackadder, Aurora Boreas, also known as Thomas Shelby, Chrono JJ's done some, Iron Maiden, apologies if I've missed anyone, I think Joe did a couple, Kilty. So come and check out some of the awesome members of this community making these games or bringing these games to life a little bit. And also a huge thank you to all of the players who were involved. Once you get into the playoffs, it's what is it? Straight into quarterfinals. So you only have to win 2 games to be in to make money in that point, I think. So you win your quarterfinals, you win your semifinals, and then actually you only have to win 2 games to make money. So if you win your first one, lose your second one, and win your third one, that will be third place. If you win your first 2 and lose your third one, that would be second place. And if you win all 3, you do take home the grand prize. So it's only 3 wins once you get to playoffs. So this league situation, this group stage, has been really important for the seedings of the players. So I'm not sure if either of these players is in it with a shot. I think actually GrandMonster is very close to the 4th spot. So winning this game would be very important to him to be able to take the 4th spot and probably have to face off against, I want to say it's Chemo, but go off to face Joe. I think Joe's got a lock on that first spot in his group stage. But Odin against Zeus on Marsh. This is a difficult matchup for the Odin player, I have to say. All of the food is difficult to get access to. We have been seeing Norse players go for their forward food on Marsh every single game because it's so hard to get access to your food if your opponent decides to go for Athena Rush. Luckily for GrandMonster, he's actually got both these Auroch in the back of his base. However, he does have this gold mine here with a fairly exposed sentry tower. The sentry tower will have to get spammed with wall segments early if GrandMonster wants to hold on to it, and in holding on to this does hold on to the gold mine as well. Let's see what Brickhead's got in store though. Brickhead does not have to go Athena in this matchup. You can just go Hermes and just be totally fine in that regard. And we see him building one more villager, a little bit short on the resources here. Must have been a little bit low on the food on this. I think he started with only 5 gazelle. You need 6 gazelle for the super fast advance time. However, he was gone very, very late here. Normally 4:30 is the normal advance time, but what can you do? 4:45 is not going to be that bad. GrandMonster's not going to be too far behind. He's going for his Freya a little bit late. We see the wall segments up already. Raven does spot his water buffalo with a back town center here as well. So if Brickhead does go for, he's going through Athena. If he does go for a 2-town center Athena here, he may be greeted with a 2-town center semi-fast heroic, which it was not going to be possible to just deny. We do see the pigs are here as well. Another innovation of the Odin players has been to make sure they're great hunting their pigs so that they can gather them once the Athena aggression comes in. All these wall segments coming up. Generally speaking, we allow wall segments to be a thing so long as it doesn't impede pathing. So if you put wall segments around this, totally fine. But if you were to put wall segments like here instead along this big thing, like instead of this long wall here, would not be fine. So if that's a act of confusion, then that's the thing. And it's definitely up to the discretion, or like an opinionated thing, because it's really difficult. It's just like, we don't like it. Sucks that it's a thing. If there was a way to make it so that the wooden walls, if you attack this one, all of the walls around it would be killed, then that would be better. But it's not a thing. And there's GrandMonster going through Freya, Brickhead going through Athena, and we do see an immediate second town center here for Brickhead. So interesting decision here. Obviously, this sort of play goes into a not a semi-fast mythic, but a timing attack onto the second gold mine. So you're not playing around this gold mine, which means the GrandMonster should recognize this. He's got the Ravens. He should spot. I should have spotted this if we check this out. Has Brickhead gone around that way? Not Brickhead, GrandMonster gone away. He has spotted the town center. I don't know if he's seen it or not, seen it going up or not, but he should have some sort of idea that that's what's coming for him, and not go for these deer. Unfortunately, he is. Would have moved forward onto these boar until he gets pushed off is the big idea behind that. We do see the Valkyrie does get killed there. Was that a bolt? Yes, it was a bolt here from Brickhead. And there's the second town center as well. He's throwing up his military academy and an archery range as well. You have to play super slow now when you go into town center. Athena can't move out of your base, have to defend all of your food. And it is actually on GrandMonster to deny hunt here. If GrandMonster can deny hunt, he will be able to prevent this second town center strategy here from Brickhead in doing too much damage. But Norse does take a while to get going. Actually, if he had these Hersa and he was attacking now, he'd be actually in a really good spot, but he's not doing it. Whenever your opponent gets a second town center, the first port of call is always, can I prevent my opponent from gathering from hunt? And we do see Brickhead actually a little bit short on the food right now. He's just getting some idle town center time, idle military academy time. Finally gets them going. Raiding Cavalry does spot a villager trying to build some walls here, and he will get away with his life though. Now we see this Raiding Cavalry looking for something to do, trying to find something. And such is the this game. No relics being picked up. Dwarven Calipers, Tale of Cerberus, Scales of Catoplepas, and all over disappointing relics. Raiders coming onto the gold in the back. Like, here's the thing, you're never going to be able to kill the villagers. It's good to do the little chip damage, but Brickhead's going to be fine with it. This is exactly where he needs to raid, and this only. All the pressure should be on this hunt here. And Brickhead knows that, because that's why he's chilling here. He doesn't even care if he's not producing units at the moment. He's just happy to be eating his hunt. Now we can move over to the boar after this hippopotamus. We do see an early armory here, so it's looking like GrandMonster's going for like a semi-fast heroic of some variety, which is not a bad idea. Maybe if he goes through Njord, he can hit this, but there is an Athena, a restoration, which can deny that, and there is a frost as well. You could go through Skadi, get the rush. What's it called? Huntress Axe, Rush Huntress Axe, Mass Throwing Axeman, and Huskal. Really strong unit composition against the Hoplite Toxotes. But he has already built these Raiding Cavalry here. So we'll see what he can do. We've got the Raiding Cavalry going after a random sentry tower here. There is no Forest Fire. The Forest Fire has already been used. Would have been nice to see that Forest Fire usage here to open up the base. Would have also picked off so many buildings here that Brickhead had thrown up. Which is why you should never use your Forest Fire too early, because there's always going to be some huge value you can get out of it, picking off a military academy and a house, plus all these villages on this wood line, while these raiders are happily raiding around the back of the base. Now there's no resources there. Just saying. And we do see the GrandMonster not moving up to his hunt here. He's got complete map control right now, and he's moving back to his water buffalo, I guess. Trying to be a bit safe, I guess, but he should know where the enemy's army is. Population situation, 83 hop for Brickhead to 74 for GrandMonster going through Skadi now. We do see that some of Brickhead's units are finally deciding that they want to deal with the raiders on his temple. And I guess GrandMonster's getting what he wants here. Gets to get to the heroic age before he goes to his second gold mine. Gets to get this sound center here without being pushed too much. And now Brickhead's deciding it's time to move out. It's maybe a bit too early, but he will hit this gold mine. The Frost Giant will be here as well, so it's a bit of a difficult fight to have. There's no bolt left for Brickhead. And Brickhead's pushing forward now, trying to find somewhere to attack. Oxcar placement for GrandMonster leaves a little bit to be desired. What can you do? Nice house placement here, but his army's going to get caught. May actually have to frost this. He's retreating. Oh, no, he left a nice retreat there. Nice little gap. I thought he had to walk all the way around, but there's a gap there. Nice job. Still has to throw up a hill fort if he can. He's going to put it at the back of his town center. I like that. We do see the hoplites now going to be taking these houses down. Kind of exactly what GrandMonster wanted there, I guess, by throwing him there. We've got the villagers moving forward onto this hunt. Leaving a couple behind for Brickhead, a couple of units behind. Still no upgrades here for GrandMonster. No upgrades coming in for Brickhead, who's just spamming out units. Does need to invest in medium infantry if he wants to sort of keep those units alive. Raiding Cavalry going to attempt to jockey around here and prevent Brickhead from attacking. A couple of Frost Giants chilling in the front. Oh, losing a Raiding Cavalry there, unfortunately. Going to be pulling back. More houses going up for GrandMonster. Now we see the Huskell coming out. As I've said in previous things, Huskell take 9 seconds to train. Very, very fast. Compare that to the Hoplites, which are 14 seconds, and the Toxotes, which are 15 seconds. So you can get kind of 2 Huskell out for every 1 or 1.5 of these Hoplites or Toxotes. And we do have GrandMonster retreating here. There's the frost from GrandMonster onto this army. He will be able to pick up a couple of units, but now he has no real response to the restoration. And Brickhead's seeing a 130 pop to GrandMonster's 97 population here. We'll see if he can make this work for himself. He does need to get some technologies out while this is going on and get out all the units. He's got 4 military buildings, 5 military buildings, making those Frost Giants. He's getting quite a bit of favor from this. Check out that one going up here. It is going up relatively fast, up at 8. So the damage is being useful here. You see him going up to the Minotaur here instead of anything else. I kind of like that because, it's good. It's good. And we do see a town center coming up now for Brickhead. Raiding Cavalry going to spot this though with the Raven chilling on top of it. And do the units chill here? They are going to stay and fight this. Restoration should be coming down here. Here's to Restoration. We'll see if it does anything. It does keep these units alive. And that's going to allow Brickhead to start retreating away here from that without losing too many of those units. Gets a little bit of damage done before he gets out. But we'll have to retreat away. Town Center probably going to get up here. Even with these Raiding Cavalry dealing damage to it, these will go down. And then the units retreating back to this location. Brickhead needs to get to the Heroic Age and get out Hypaspis at this point to deal with this infantry-based army of GrandMonster. Does he have Huntress Axe yet? He does not. The Frost Giant going to be enough though. There's only one Odysseus here, one hero, and the Frost Giants get on top of the town center here as GrandMonster going to be preventing that one. Sees his opportunity to strike and he's going for it now. He's just preventing this town center, picking off every single one of those units without losing too many at all. Brickhead sitting at 109 population to GrandMonster's 123. Frost Giants staying alive right now. Gold Mine is up here. It's relatively protected, but that is kind of the win condition. If GrandMonster, even if GrandMonster just grabs this town center for himself, which he probably would be able to. No, he doesn't have the resources for it, but he may be able to grab it fairly soon. Alternatively, he can just come in and hit this. GrandMonster finally getting his archaic economic upgrades at the 13-minute mark compared to Brickhead, who's got quite a few upgrades there. Now GrandMonster pushing in onto this gold mine. He's got the units. He's got the momentum here. Brickhead trying to reproduce those as fast as he can, but it's not happening very well. Villager over here almost getting picked off. We're going to see a longhouse going down for GrandMonster in this spot as well. Villagers chilling over here, just happily hunting. And got a couple of random units for Brickhead up in this top location. They could use those in his army, or needs them in his army. Odysseus dealing a little bit more damage to the Frost Giants. They do have 69% armor here. Now going after the other Frost Giant with the Jason. Needs to finish this low HP giant off here. Still quite a bit of damage. We do see him finally task the Odysseus onto that one, but with GrandMonster having these forward barracks here, he should have enough units here to keep pushing in, but it does not look like he's able to. Well, he is actually sort of winning this, but the Huskell kind of dying before the Toxotes die means that the Toxotes will be able to clean this up. But it's looking like there's actually still quite a few left. I am not seeing this right at all. And GrandMonster able to win this fight even harder. 100 population to 120 population. The Brickhead's still trying to defend this. He should just throw up a wall here and try and sit behind it with the Toxotes behind it. Quite a few military buildings up now for Brickhead, so he's able to spam quite fast right now, but GrandMonster's getting this town center and he's happy to just keep pushing. We do see Rhyme coming in for those Frost Giants, those Therm Frost Giants. Going to be doing their thing. Throwing Axeman. Also attacking a granary for some reason before pulling back. And GrandMonster is able to do all the damage onto Brickhead right now, who's losing all of his units and about to lose this gold mine as well. Though, while this is going on, Brickhead is switching over onto that bottom gold mine, so he does not actually have to hit this or defend this. He can just pull off this, move the villagers over onto wood, move the wood villagers over onto gold, throw up some walls, and try and defend that location, get Heroic Age. Very important for him. But nice defensive position here for Brickhead, even though all of this is happening. Those Toxotes do a lot of damage, picked off all the Huskal, there's only one left. Probably needs to throw up a second hill for it. Going too many throwing axemen can be a mistake. Still no Huntress Axe for him. Such a big upgrade, 20% extra hack damage for those throwing axemen does bring them pretty much almost even in damage with the Toxotes. 7 damage to like 6 damage or something like that. So really helps out in the trades there. But now we have heavy Huskal coming in. And every time the Huskal is sitting on these Toxotes, it's so big because they have 50% pierce armor. There's no unit in the game that has that base pierce. Right? Or does he already have pierce armor? No. This is base pierce. No human unit has 50% pierce armor. Apparently Destroyer does, but that's a siege unit, is it not? No, it's an infantry unit. Very few units have 50% pierce armor. Okay, so no human units have 50%. Destroyer has 70%. Very big difference there. Frost Giants pushing through. Nobody thinks about Atlantean anyways. They're a joke civilization. It's all like the China Civ, right? Right? Who's with me? Toxotes trying to defend. Brickhead taps out in this moment here. Feels like he cannot continue in this game. If he got this town center up, this would have probably been a different situation because he could have fought on top of the town center to defend this gold mine. But instead, that nice decision by GrandMonster to push there. One of the few games we've seen where Norse wins before the Mythic Age. Really nice heroic timing here. This 2 town center play from Brickhead just not enough. I think had he maybe made more of a priority in getting instead of pushing out with his army, just playing the 2 town center Athena semi-fast mythic strategy. With an Apollo timing on the Frost and then baiting the Frost and garrisoning back into the Underworld or something like that after the Frost is finished would have been probably a better idea here. Alternatively, just go 1 town center, 415 Athena Rush, and it's really hard to defend. I tell you, it's really hard. I feel like not enough people do it, and I don't think that the Odin players have gotten that much better that they can defend against it, even with all of this wall segment shenanigans here. Restoration push through this onto the gold mine would be huge. Even if not that, you just hit the food here. If there's any resource that is vitally important, food and gold to the opponent, you just need to do that strategy, that Athena Rush, because you can just really destroy them, really hurt them badly. And even if you look at the back of the base, you could have pushed off this wood as well. And maybe not this wood, but yeah. Anyways. GrandMonster takes the first game. We'll move on to game number 2 very shortly. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the games, please consider hitting the follow button on Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next